Okay, everybody, welcome again. We're back again for the Nakshatra Beeja mantras with Achalaji, and welcome Achalaji. Today we'll be doing the Beeja mantra for Chitra Nakshatra. So Achalaji, please take it from here. You know what you want to teach us about Chitra Nakshatra and what's the mantra for Chitra?
Okay. Share my screen. Okay. So Chitra Nakshatra. This is the last nakshatra that we are going to find in this range of energy range of heart chakra. And two last Beej mantras of heart chakra are connected to Chitra. And these are Tam and Tam. So let us perhaps first chant the mantra, and then we can talk a little bit more about this nakshatra because it's a particularly interesting one for me. Om Tam Tam Chitra Nakshatraye Namaha. Om Tam Tam Chitra Nakshatraye Namaha. Om Tam Tam Chitra Nakshatraye Namaha. So Chitra Nakshatra is in a way very, very, very interesting one. If you try to find like any verbs or even nouns, anything really that starts from these particular two Beej mantras, we won't find much really. But one, two things that I managed to find in one of the scriptures, that these two Beej mantras, Tam and Tam, they are actually Beej mantras for Chandika, for Durga Devi, along with two other Beej mantras. And what is very interesting in Chitra, particularly for me, because we still somehow connected to heart chakra, but it already kind of has a little bit of the flavor of solar plexus chakra. Because we see that this is the nakshatra that is ruled by Mars, first of all. So it stands for transformation, like all the nakshatras of Mars. And it's also a very powerful nakshatra in a way. It has a really lot of power, and it's very much connected also to our life force that is within us. And this is why this is particularly interesting for me, because if we see which nakshatra is right after Chitra, it's actually Swati. And Swati nakshatra is, on the other hand, connected with air, with the life force, with breathing, which is, again, the thing that we would rather connect with air element and heart chakra. So these two nakshatras are somehow very much connected, and they are like some sort of passage from one chakra to another, really. This is how I feel it. So when we look at Chitra nakshatra, it's placed exactly between sign of Libra and Virgo. It's equally spread, divided between both of these signs. And we see that exactly opposite is Margashirsha, which is another nakshatra of the Mars. So it's very, in a way, interesting that always between this Vishuddha chakra, zodiacal one, and zodiacal heart chakra, we actually have these Mars nakshatras, which are showing this deep transformation that needs to happen in order for us to actually rise in consciousness up. And there was actually one very interesting point also last time on webinar that somebody noticed, I don't remember whom, that actually Mars nakshatras are perfectly reflecting the Gandantas, right? Because we will see that right opposite Mars nakshatra here is Gandanta, and here, and also same will be, of course, with Dhanishta and Gandanta in the third eye. So it's a really beautiful thing because it really shows, in a way, the quality of Mars. Because right when we always look at, let's say, the nakshatra or the sign or the house even that is right opposite, it's like sort of Shakti of that house or sort of Shakti of that nakshatra. And it really reveals that Mars is very much about transformation, about changing something, about making it different, about burning something also, burning some of our karma, because ultimately this is also what is happening during Gandantas, even now when Saturn is transiting the Gandanta. So this is also very prominent quality in Chitra Nakshatra in a way, personally for me, because if we look at how this nakshatra is actually represented and what is the deity and what is its symbols. It says really so much about this nakshatra. So you can see here, like all of us know, the deity here will be Twashta, which is the cosmic architect, the divine architect. And one particular thing that I noticed with Chitra Nakshatra, because it's Mars Nakshatra, but still is connected to heart chakra, that these people love a lot to express their emotions and their emotional state. And sometimes even in a very exaggerated way. So whenever they have like a particular experience, be it material, spiritual, in their love life, whichever sort of experience, they like to express it very much. But again, Mars Nakshatras, they're connected to our life force and our ability to actually deal with our life force. Because ultimately, it's prana, really. It's about our blood also, Mars. So it's the way how we use our life force and how we use our actions. And this is why I noticed very much, even if we look at Margashirsha Nakshatra, Dhanishta, if we look at Chitra as well, these people can often have somehow problem with directing their energy to the right place, to the right goal. Not always, but very often, especially in the beginning of life, they might be confused like as to how to use their energy, because they are very dynamic, they have loads and loads of this energy, but they don't necessarily know where exactly to direct it. And it's very beautiful when we look at Twashtar. He's one of the 12 Adityas, and he's the only one of the 12 Adityas who actually holds closed lotus flowers in his hands. So all other Adityas, they have open lotus flowers, and he has closed ones. So this is like literally a silent hint from the universe, you know, go inside. Don't just spray it all around, you know, with your aura, your emotions, your feelings. Go deeper, go inside. And exactly the same lesson with Chitra Nakshatra we'll see in its symbol, which is a pearl. So one other quality that is very prominent with Margashirsha and Dhanishta and Chitra is impulsiveness that may happen. So these people often, of course, there might be a problem with patience, so they might be impatient as well. But very often what happens is that they tend to react immediately to something. So they will not like wait a moment, digest the emotion, maybe think a little bit. It's more in their nature to act like right here, right now, when they still feel the emotion. And when we look at actually how pearl is created in nature, it's really the most beautiful possible message for Chitra Nakshatra natives. Because the pearl is created in such a way that firstly, like tiny little grain of sand actually gets into the oyster. And of course, it irritates the oyster, and the oyster wants to get rid of it, but it can't. It doesn't have the capacity to do so. It cannot like vomit like some animals can, right? So what it is doing, it's actually puts a lot of its saliva around this grain of sand, and to give this grain of sand a shape that will be more bearable, better. And in result, after this process, we actually achieve a pearl, one of the most beautiful objects in nature. And it's really a very, very beautiful message for all the people who have anything, any planet really in Chitra Nakshatra that I always repeat over and over again, is just don't spit out the life experiences immediately, the emotions. Try to keep it a little bit inside, ingest it, and transform it in yourself. It's very, very similar to Ashlesha in a way. It's again about trying to take it within ourselves and transforming it into something more beautiful, transforming it into wisdom. And it's the same quality of Twashtar actually, because again, he takes the sand of this matter, right, the atoms, and he creates the whole beautiful universe out of it, which is a process which requires loads and loads of patience and loads of attention, also attentiveness. Because it's also important to know that the Shakti of Chitra Nakshatra is Punya Chayani. So it's our ability to get Punya. So it's our ability to collect the good deeds, we can say, the good karma, which is going to lead us to heavens, literally. In Shatapada Brahmana, it is said that Chitra Nakshatra literally leads us to heavens, because we are literally building this good karma and we are transforming ourselves with that. There's also this beautiful story in, I think it's also Shatapatha Brahmana, about how Indra is connected to this nakshatra too. So it is said even in this Brahmana that Chitra is like symbolized by sacrificial brick, a brick of sacrificial altar. So there's this story like demons were creating this sacrificial altar in order to get liberated, and Indra put his little brick inside. And then, of course, Indra came and he claimed this brick for himself. So he took it away and destroyed the whole sacrifice of demons. And it's a very beautiful message here as well, I think, because it shows us that even a little deed, this little brick, it can either build everything for us or it can destroy everything for us. And all the Mars nakshatras are actually teaching us to be more aware as to how are our actions really in the world, because they create karma ultimately. They create Gandanta, right? So, which is right opposite to it. So they are either creating to us the Gandanta of a lot of bad karma or the Gandanta of spiritual evolution, because also Gandanta symbolizes that. So these are just a lot of these beautiful topics and themes about Chitra Nakshatra. And I also wanted to share, because I also have the picture of Chitra Nakshatra from this Bengali museum, which has a collection of some of them. And you can see here a lady dressed in red, which is also the color of Mars, and she has a sieve in her hands. So it's also very, very deep symbolism here, because we need to sieve, we need to check which kind of qualities we want to keep and which kind of qualities to fall away. We also need to see which kind of deeds are actually bringing us good fruits and which kind of deeds are not bringing us good fruits. This is, again, all the time the same motive ultimately of understanding that we are the creators of our life. We are the twashtars of our life in such a sense that every single deed that we do has some meaning and is going to bring certain fruits in our life. And also, it's somehow very interesting that Chitra and Vishaka are also connected because they have the same animal, right? And also Vishaka is again the nakshatra that is also very much connected with kind of being very responsible for our own actions and taking really everything, taking our actions the way they are and being responsible for that. So literally you reap what you sow. That's the main message here, I believe. And the padas of this nakshatra and its planetary energies, as this is nakshatra ruled by Mars, so it's connected to Manipura chakra. It's residing in Anahata chakra, it's beach mantras, and it's equally divided between Virgo and Libra, which are Vishuddha and Anahata chakras. So these are, let's say, not the highest chakras, but still high chakras, right? They are like, let's say, in the middle of our body. And the padas are here, again, high chakras. So we can see that this is one more nakshatra which doesn't have any sort of energy of Swadhisthana or Muladhara chakra here. I think I already talked too long, Dr. Paiji. Maybe you'd like to add something.
No, I think Achala, you have actually talked all those points that I wanted to mention. I think you beautifully touched upon most of the points of Chitra. Chitra is a very beautiful nakshatra. And one point which you mentioned, maybe I want to just add to that, is Twastar. And he said Twastar is the only solar, the Vedic solar deity who has the lotuses in his two hands are closed, the top two hands. And the bottom hands, you can see he's holding one book in his hand, and then he's holding beads. They look like white beads, or rather they would be pearls. I would imagine so. Now, what is the meaning of these closed things? I was thinking about this. Is when the lotus actually, when the sun sets, the lotus actually go back. They bloom, and when the sunlight goes, they go inside the water. They recede inside the water, and the next morning they come up again. And when the sunlight comes, they come and they blossom again. So they kind of train themselves or tune themselves to the solar rays or the solar energies. And again, the beautiful association with the oysters that you mentioned is when the sand gets in. They say when the first drops of rain fall, There's a little bit of turbulence in the waters, and then when some sand goes inside, that's when they feel irritated, and the saliva comes out as a reaction. And that's why you beautifully said Chitra natives always behave like a knee-jerk reaction. You know, somebody hits on your knee, and suddenly you'll react because it's a knee-jerk reaction. Most of the Chitra natives are, they just have this tendency, and that's when they actually perform the best. I've seen many artists, people who have Chitra, because Chitra, you can see it's divided between two padas in Virgo and two padas in Libra. And literally, when you talk about Gandanta, what I wanted to point out is Gandanta is nothing but when you untie the knot here, when you're going through a lot of pain and you're trying to untie. At the same time, there is a lot of transformation that is happening. It's the transformation that you have to cross this bridge. This bridge of all Mars Nakshatras is a bridge. Think of it like a bridge between an earthy sign and an airy sign. All Mars ruled nakshatras are a bridge. So you have to cross this bridge. This is the transformation bridge from Earth to, going to an airy sign. And untying the Gandanta at the seventh house, right opposite is the Gandanta. That's where you'd have to untie the spiritual knot. It could be a painful process, but you have to do it because that's where the transformation happens. And the result of that, you would see it in a Mars ruled nakshatra. So when prominent planets are going through, you would see a lot of transformation people are going through, and these Mars ruled nakshatras are activated. So I would see that another thing that you see here also in the horses that you see. You can see there are three heads facing on each side, and there's one head which is showing you. And Chitra is almost the middle nakshatra of the entire zodiac. If you start with, Ashwini nakshatra being the first nakshatra, although Atharva Vedas talks about Kritika nakshatra being the first, but if you take Ashwini nakshatra, then this is exactly halfway through. It's a halfway mark. Because on one side you have 13 nakshatras, and the other side you'll have 13 nakshatras if you don't take Abhijit nakshatra. Because Abhijit is an intercalary nakshatra. And you see the book that is in his hand, it kind of signifies, it shows me Chitra. Whenever somebody says Chitra, what comes to my mind is Chitragupta. The accountant who keeps a log of all the things. Chitra Gupta, the secret picture. So it is, this is like an Akashic record that he might be holding in his hands. Akashic records are etheric archives. And many of your, I've seen with Chitra natives, they love either keeping a lot of pictures at home of themselves and their family, or in the modern times, I've seen if there is Hasta and Chitra, the planets in Hasta and Chitra, this rage about taking selfies. Everybody.
Completely.
Chitra always, they would like to, even if they give on space, they will go and they will take a selfie with somebody. They always are obsessed with selfies. That's Chitra picture.
That's completely true, Dr. Faiji. I am thinking now about some people that I know who have like very prominent Chitra Nakshatra. It's like completely like that. Whenever they go, they will have plenty of pictures.
Yes, they have plenty of pictures. They like to collect pictures. They have pictures at home, and they would like to have a lot of pictures. So this is Chitra. They want to create a data bank of memories. And Chitra is all about Akashic records, etheric archives of lot of data, of information, of images. And that's why you see a lot of Chitra could also have interest in artistic talents. When it's on the Virgo side, they would be great authors, writers, novelists, writing, romantic thrillers, right? And when they come on the Libra side, then it's Venus energy. So they can become architects, interior decorators, people interested in fashion, designing, all of that. So it's all about, these inner talents. That's the lotus which goes down. You need to go inside to really delve inside to understand, to bring out the transformations. So I think, beautifully, this is a beautiful lesson that we have had today, Chalaji, with the mantra as well, which is very potent. So thank you very much for coming and, teaching us and doing the series with us, agreeing to do the series with us. We are always grateful to Achalaji. So thank you very much, Achala.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Namaste.
Namaste.